How are you guys doing today? I'm Melisa Nilsson with Waldorf Essentials. Today, I wanted to talk about how can I serve you? Like, how can I help you going with what you're going through? So if you are a Waldorf homeschooling mom and you are going through struggling with lesson creation, struggling with holding the space, struggling with rhythm, struggling with getting your kids to do what you need them to do, struggling with getting yourself to do what you need yourself to do, struggling with any of those things, struggling with feeling like you're enough, that's a big one, then I am glad you tuned in because we're going to chat a little bit and I'm here to answer questions. We have an amazing program and I can't impress enough upon you that if you are struggling with thinking you're enough, with thinking you're bringing enough to your kids, with thinking that the Waldorf curriculum is enough for your kids, with thinking that rhythm is just something that eludes you, with thinking that you just don't have the time, with thinking that you're not good enough. If you're struggling with any of those things, or if you just really want a spanking group of friends to hang out with that are amazing, we have an amazing group of women, all awesome women. And it's an extremely lively group. It's a group that has a lot to give, a lot of moms supporting each other. And it's a group that you won't find anywhere else on Facebook. Nowhere else. In fact, that's something that people tell us time and again. Melisa, how do you do it? How do you keep a group of a group that's so big? I mean, it's not giant, but it's big enough. How do you keep us all, like in line so that there's not ugliness? And I just say, because I hold the space. I hold the space for all of you there. And I'm in a space of like regular meditation for everybody there. So I am actively, continually looking at what can I do to serve the families that we work with. So if you want an experience from somebody who's walked the walk, I've been there. And there's nothing you can say. I've been doing this for a long time. There's nothing you can say that's going to surprise me. I have moms all the time send me a message when they first start and they say, okay, so I'm going to surprise you probably with what I'm going to say. And at the end of their email, they're always like, are you sure you still want to work with me? Just laugh and go, okay, listen, there's nothing you're going to say. It's going to surprise me, shock me, or make me go, oh no, I don't think I can work with you. It's all about whether or not you're pliable and ready to learn something new. And ready to learn something that, ready to sort of empty that cup out that we've talked about a lot. And if you haven't heard us talk about the cup, it's this cup of Waldorf stuff that seems to be overflowing, and we sort of don't know what to do with it. And we keep wanting to add more and more things to it, but it's overflowing. So you cannot add any information to an already full cup. So when you work with me, I ask that you empty the cup and that you dry it out and you are ready to receive. You're ready to receive new ways of doing things. You're ready to be pliable, ready to learn, ready to be in a spot where you can take direction. Because when we are not, then we stop learning. And when we stop learning, everything goes to hell in a handbasket. You will not be in a spot that you are happy with your family. You will not be in a spot that you're happy with, your kids, your schooling, until you are open and ready to learn. So those are the moms that should come to this program. If you're open and ready to learn. And if you are like not quite ready to learn, but you think you really want to, we'll have a spot for you there too. Say, is thinking, feeling, willing right for me? And so this is usually what I say. I usually say, well, what is it that you're looking for? And often it will be, well, I really want help with understanding the curriculum, or I really want help with the artistic portions of the curriculum, or my handwork is not in a good place, or I'm really struggling with my parenting, or insert challenge here. And so we sort of go through and we talk about, okay, this is what we have in the program. The program consists of 15 mom lessons. So the mom lessons are rhythm, and it's not just a lesson. It is like full body course in and of itself, because rhythm never goes away. It's never something you say, I've accomplished it. I can do it. And it's something that is always evolving, and you're always working on it, always. So the sooner you become converted to rhythm, enough to know up here in your head that it's something you should do, and these people keep saying that you need one, and it's like, it's not an external, it's an internal. So you have to be converted to it in your heart before you can actually make change. And there are, some emotional reasons why some people really resist rhythm, and we talked about that in some of those 2 trainings that we did. And I talk openly about that in our program, and when people ask questions, and in some of the one-on-one coaching we do. So there's a whole mom lesson on rhythm. There's an entire lesson on understanding the Waldorf curriculum. So Steiner's lectures, you can't teach this for any long period of time without cracking some Steiner open. Whether or not you agree with everything that he said, I don't agree with everything that he said. So it's inconsequential that I don't have to agree with everything, but you have to sort of understand some of the things that he says. So there's a whole mom lesson on the curriculum, and understanding the curriculum at home, how it's different at home, how we've taken some of the things and we really feel like turned them into the space that he originally intended. And so we stick with understanding the curriculum from the beginning rather than understanding just what they do in the schools. We have an entire mom lesson on inner work. So the inner work mom lesson has more than 40 hours of inner work content in the form of podcasts that you can listen to. A lot of moms will just pop an earbud in and listen when they're doing dishes, or they're out on a run, or at night before they go to bed. So there's the inner work component of it. And that's something that is continually evolving, continually being spoken of, because inner work is another thing that is never done. You're always growing, always working on yourself. We have an entire mom lesson on temperament. So if the temperament is something that you have been struggling with and you can't sort out your own, or you're really trying to figure out how to work with your child, this is a mom lesson for you. It is geared entirely towards you understanding yourself first, and then understanding your partner as well, and then you can bring your children into that mix. And I have to tell you, it is sweet, beautiful, and golden when you understand yourself and you understand your children, because then you show up differently to them, and you realize that they are always constant. They're always constant, and you're stepping into their space and nourishing them where they need to be nourished. We also have a mom lesson on handwork that teaches you all the foundations of handwork, not just Waldorf, but handwork in general. So knitting, purling, crochet, embroidery, needle felting. I mean, we go through all of those, and there are patterns, many, many, many patterns, and I add to it on a fairly regular basis, a couple of patterns a year for sure. And we have a very thriving handwork intensive group, and so people are asking questions there, and we always have people asking questions within the Thinking, Feeling, Willing group about, talk to me about, I need help here. There are lots of moms that are like ready to step in and help when you have a handwork issue. So lots of handwork. Handwork is such a foundational piece to Waldorf. We have an entire mom lesson on music. So if music is something you've been afraid of, I know I was afraid of music for a lot of years. We included in the program is the Music Unfolds program, which is a program I co-authored with Kimberly Parsons last year. And it takes you through everything from kindergarten through grade 3. So from learning to start singing the songs, then to start playing the flute or recorder, and then you gradually get to a place where they're reading the notes. And so it goes grades 1 through 3, and there's some stuff for kindergarten as well. We have an entire mom lesson on form drawing, the ins and outs of form drawing, using form drawing as a meditative tool, using form drawing with special needs children, how to actually bring form drawing so that you're doing it not just correctly, but in a way that is more, it takes it to a deeper level for them, because form drawing is much more than just a pre-handwriting skill. In fact, I had to sort of laugh. Soraya is loving checking her practicing her letters because she's in first grade. And so she asked me, Mommy, I want to make sure I write them right. She's very OCD. I want to make sure I write them right. So she wanted something that had the arrows, you know, for each letter. And so I found her this little workbook. And I know we don't do workbooks in Waldorf, but it was more like a fun thing rather than a school thing. So I found her this little workbook. And the first like 20 pages was all like form drawings. So she goes, why is this a book about form drawing? Planning, you know, I'm like the queen of planning. So we have an entire mom lesson on planning. And actually it is the Planning for Peace journal. And so you get all the Planning for Peace journals, all of the different incarnations of them, all of the videos that go with that. We plan extensively in Waldorf Essentials. So we start planning in April or May, and we take you through all of the steps. So it's all included in the program. So you have access to all of that and access to any updates that I make. In fact, that goes for anything. The program as it is now is definitely different than it was when we started it 7 years ago. 7 years ago, right? It's been about 7 years. So. 7 years or so. It has changed so much. It has deepened so much. We have added so much content to it. So those who got on board 7 years ago are like, this is amazing because she keeps adding to it. Getting on board now, while we still have years of stuff that we'll be adding, it's a good time. It's a good time. Just telling you. Okay, we also have an extensive section on painting and drawing. So we take you through the beginning pieces of painting. We have coloring with block crayons, Siglinda Di Francesca. She's one of my besties. I love her. She has, her program is within our program. So you get to learn how to draw with block crayons and do it well. She has some great videos for that. We go through modeling and understanding modeling, how it is a useful therapeutic tool, but also how you bring it into your main lessons. We have an entire mom lesson on festivals, how to bring festivals to your family if you're brand spanking new and you've never done it, how to get deeper with festivals if you've been doing it for a while and you really want to sort of understand the depth of festivals. We even talk about within the group, we talk about, you know, bringing in festivals that aren't traditional Waldorf festivals. And maybe you are, you know, an Orthodox faith where you do specific things like we talk about Hanukkah. We talk about some of the Muslim annual festivals. We do all of those things. And how do you integrate those things that are deeply religious to some of us? How do you integrate that into the Waldorf calendar? And how do you pick what works for your family? So that's definitely a topic that's come up time and again. We have an entire mom lesson on writing your own curriculum. So if you feel like there are pieces that just don't work for you and you would like to sort of dive in and figure it out yourself. So we have an entire mom lesson on that. And that piece alone, you know, we also sell it as a standalone, but that piece alone will take you through all the rudiments of Steiner, why he thought what he did for each grade, each subject, and we take you through how to meet state standards. And we use the Common Core as a foundation. That's the United States standard. But what I found when I was researching is that same standard, they didn't invent it. They obviously stole it from somebody else because it is very much so aligned with most of the other countries that I see their standards. So, because what I will do for clients, in fact, we have a family in Australia that just joined us a couple of weeks ago, and she said, I know I have these standards I need to meet. So last night I just said, just send them to me. Send me what the standards are so that I can read them, and then we'll talk about how you can meet them. So I do that. I do that for the families that we work with. I will go through the standards and help you pinpoint exactly what it's saying, exactly what it's asking of you. And then, you know, it allows you to then plan your lessons accordingly, and it allows you to feel really confident in what it is that you're bringing to your children. I have a mom lesson on schooling several children. You know, we have 5 children, and we had a couple of years where we had 4 main lessons and an infant. And so I know what that's like to be able to move around and be able to get everybody's needs met. And so we have some information on that. Oh, and I was talking about our Circle Time Mom lesson. It will have completed circles for every month of the year, and it will include all of the music. It will include somebody singing it, because that's the disconnect sometimes. Like, the music's great, but if I don't know how to sing it, then I'm screwed. So it will have somebody singing it. It will have our keys to circle time creation. It will have we have a couple of pieces that will come from our Music Unfolds curriculum, just because there are some really sweet golden songs in that I wanted to make sure we included. We will be talking about how to put it together, how circle time changes as your children change, and how it looks different, and how you have to reimagine it as they grow older. So it's going to be a really awesome mom lesson. I'm super excited. A lot of parenting stuff. So you get me. You get a mentor that walks with you. You get a mentor that is very active in the groups. And if you come on board in 2018, you still get personal access to me. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.